In this nitty-gritty Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mah Jongg at Mahjong Time. The topic for today's episode is the power of position. This is one of my favorite topics because if you do it right, you can gain an advantage at the table. So actually all the topics on that nitty-gritty, let's see, it's called the skills and strategies matrix. They're all good, but this is one of my favorites. I want to say thank you for being here today. If you have any questions, write them in live chat, or if you're watching the repost, write them in the comment section below. You can also join us on Facebook where we talk about skills and strategies and rules. There's a link in the video description below if you want to join me there. I want to give a shout out to our moderators today. They're going to help moderate the chat. Today's format is called Nitty-Gritty because we're going to be focused on the topic and gameplay with commentary. There'll be no socialization. If you prefer gameplay that is a little more casual, join us on Fridays. Friday nights, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Simply Social Let's Play live streams. I think that's it for, I guess, housekeeping. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Nancy, Wes, hi. I'll go ahead and share my screen after I get the slideshow started, and then we'll get into this topic. Hi, Shelby. Welcome from Iowa. Cool. Okay, here we go. Buckle up. This is an advanced topic, nitty-gritty prime time. So if you're new to the game, just soak it up and come back to it when you're ready to dig deeper into the game. If you're new to the game, it's best to master the fundamentals and then start refining your playing style with skills and strategies like what we're going to talk about today. So stay here and just soak it up because it'll all be tucked into your brain when you need it and when you're ready. Hi, Marilyn. Welcome. All right, so here's the presentation. American Mah Jongg, Strategy by Wall, the power of position. The first thing that I want to share will hopefully help you understand the advantages of this method of playing the game. During the pick and discard phase of the game, there are three advantages: skill, strategies, and position. So in between games, study and practice. And then when you're playing games, apply what you're learning along the way. When you're playing at the table, when you're ready to incorporate the ideas from the power of position, leverage these ideas, and it will give you an advantage at the table, whether you win or lose, or whether, let's just say, win, lose, or draw. Because if the game ends in a draw, that's a win, in my opinion. It's a win. You can win by declaring Mahjong, but you could also win by ending the game in a draw, because there's a lot that goes in to decision-making when you fold and block. If you're able to successfully block your opponents from developing their hand and winning, I would say that you could chalk that up as a win yourself. If anybody disagrees with that, let me know in the chat. Hi, Evelyn. Welcome, Gretchen. All right, so when it comes to position, you want to first assess your position after the Charleston. So during the Charleston, you're just focused on gathering tiles for the strength of your hand, whatever that may be. And then after the Charleston, that's when you first identify or estimate your position in the game. After the Charleston, if you have more than 4 discards, you're likely an underdog for that game. Take a low-risk approach until you have a hand with no gaps and few weaknesses. A gap would be, for example, if you're playing 3-6-9 and you have no 3s. Instead of playing 3-6-9 because you have no 3s, play 6-7-8-9 consecutive run. Leverage the 6s and the 9s without the 3s. Anytime you have a gap, lower that as an option, or just take it off your list of options altogether. Weaknesses would be if you need a pair and you have 1 tile, that would be a weakness. And let's say you need a Kong of something, 4 of a kind, and you have only 2 of those tiles and no jokers. That would also be a weakness. So anything that does not put you in a ready state, whether ready to call or ready to win, that would be considered weakness. So think about gaps and weaknesses, and if you have those, really gaps, first of all, you would be an underdog until that gap is filled. And if you have several weaknesses, you would be an underdog. If you have 1 weakness or even 2, you might be able to consider yourself to be a contender. This is when you have about 4 discards, or 4 discards exactly after the Charleston, because it's going to change as you go. And as you develop your hand, your position is going to change, and we'll talk about that. So if you have 4 discards after the Charleston, you're likely going to be a contender for that game. This just means that you can take a moderate risk approach as you expedite hand development, because you want to improve your potential winning hand, because you want to be a front runner. This is when you have less than 4 discards. If you have less than 4 discards after the Charleston, consider yourself to be a front runner. Regardless of risk, expedite hand development. Regardless of risk, just push to win and stay in front. And that means that if you can claim a discard for an exposure, do it, even if you risk losing a joker, because if you're a front runner, you can bear that risk. Okay, so underdog, contender, front runner. Underdog, low risk. Contender, moderate risk. Front runner, push regardless of risk. Does anybody have any questions about these 3 positions? We're going to look at some examples, I believe, and then we're also going to do gameplay with commentary so that you can see how your position starts and changes and then ends in a game. All right, so we're going to keep going. Here's an example hand. This is an actual dealt hand. We have one of 3 hands that we could potentially play here. Actually, there's even a third or a 4th hand. We could play consecutive run 3-1. So we could do, let's say, 3-4-5 and dots. 3-4-5 and dots. 3rd hand down on the left. We could also play the 4th hand down, single pair Kong. So single pair Kong would be using 3-4-5 in bams, 3-4-5 in dots. We also have hand 6, 3-4-3-4-5. Let's see, it would be 3-4. Let's see, 3, 1, 2, 3. What am I? Let's see, 6. Oh, pung pung Kong Kong. 1, 2 crack, 3, 4 dot. 1, 2 crack, 3, 4 dot, or 2, 3 crack, 4, 5 dot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's lots of hands that you could potentially play here. And that is why I would say that you are probably going to be an underdog. There are just too many tiles in here that you're not going to end up using. So because you could play so many hands, and until you pick a hand, you won't be able to peg yourself at a higher position because we have way too many discards here. So you would be an underdog. The other hand I was thinking you could potentially play here is little odds, 1, 3, 5 of some kind. Probably, I would say 1, 3, 3, 5, second hand down, 1 crack, 3 crack, 3 dot, 5 dot, but you'd have to throw away a pair of 4s. Instead of throwing away a pair of 4s, I would find hands or options that would allow you to use them. That's why I share consecutive run hands and leverage the multiples. American Mah Jongg is a game of multiples. So if you target them, start there, you're going to set yourself up for success. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 of some kind. This player would be an underdog after the Charleston. So here's another example. We have year number 4, one specific hand. News with the year. This is a good example of a gap hand. We have no south. There's no south. That's a gap. We also have 1 west, but we do have jokers. There's no 2 bam for 2024. So that would be a weakness as well. So this is a really good example of a hand with gaps and weaknesses. So if you're wondering, these would be the discards, 5. That makes this player what? Can anybody guess what position this player would be in? Let me know in chat what position you would assign this player. Underdog. Yep. This player would be an underdog. So this player, as an underdog, would play defensively with their discards until they fill the gaps and improve their weaknesses or turn their weaknesses into strengths. So get a south, a 2 bam, whether that be picking from the wall or maybe doing a joker exchange. And there are ways that you can optimize the potential for joker exchange, which we may be able to talk about when we get to gameplay with commentary. So even though this hand looks pretty good for a year hand, there are gaps and weaknesses, and that's what makes this player an underdog. You're just going to take a low risk approach until you have a stronger hand. Here's another example. We have odds 1-1. This is the first odd hand in 1 suit. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. We have 4 multiples in here. 3 crack, 5 crack, 7 crack, 9 crack. 1, 3, 3, 5. No gaps, but we do have weaknesses. The 1 crack is a weakness, and the 7 crack is a weakness. Let's see, is it the no, sorry, 5 crack. The 5 crack is a weakness. So 1 and 5. The beauty of this particular hand is we could use jokers because the pairs are intact. The 3 crack and the 7, those pairs are in the hand. So here we have 4 discards. What position would this player be in? We have 2 weaknesses, no gaps. Odds 1-1. Contender, Wes says. Contender. Yes, contender. This player is a contender, so they can take on risk. Now, at the moment, they're not ready to call anything. But let's say this player draws a joker, and then someone discards a 1 crack or a 5 crack. I would claim it and make an exposure with that joker, even if it is just a couple of picks into the game, because as a contender, you can take on a little bit more risk than you might as an underdog. If you're an underdog, you would wait until you have a stronger hand. This player has a pretty strong hand, but there are two weaknesses. So you got to be mindful of what is happening at the table when you're a contender. Well, no matter what position you're in, you want to be mindful, but even more so as a underdog or a contender, because you want to give yourself room to maybe switch your hand depending on the trend that occurs as you're working on hand development. So here's another example. We have consecutive run number 8. This is well, we could actually play two different hands here. We could play actually three different hands. We could play the concealed hand, which is what we have marked here. 7-8 bam, 7-8 dot, 9 crack pair. That's one way to go. We could maybe play the fourth hand down, or we could play even the pair hand, but we have a joker. So anytime I have a joker, I tend not to look at pair hands. So here, I would say consecutive run, concealed, would leverage 3 multiples. So that's what I would focus on. Excuse me. So we would have the 9 dot as a discard, the green dragon as a discard, the south as a discard, and the 9 bam would be something called joker bait. This is a way to potentially get a joker into your hand if you make the right decisions at the right time and based on what is happening at the table. It's very situational and timing is crucial. Basically, you hold on to a pair that you don't need, and in the middle of the game, you discard one. An opponent makes an exposure with a joker, and then on your next turn, you make the exchange. It is a hit or miss tactic, but it is really nice when it does work. So if we were to play consecutive run number 8, we would have 3 discards with joker bait. So I would say this player would be a contender. It's a little more complicated because we have joker bait. If you don't count that, we would actually have 6 discards, which would make us an underdog. But sometimes joker bait works. So I would say you can bump up to contender until you know whether or not that 9 bam is going to be useful or not. If someone discards a 9 bam, then it becomes a discard and you would need to bump back to being an underdog because those would become discards. So let's say a couple of picks in, someone throws a 9 bam, nobody wants it. Those then become discards and you're back to having 6 discards instead of just 4 with joker bait. And we'll be able to talk about this, I'm sure, when we do gameplay with commentary. So if we played consecutive run number 8, we'd be a contender. Let's say that we instead play consecutive run number 4. Number 4, 1, 2, 3, single pair Kong. In this case, it'd be 7, 8, 9. If that were the case, we would have 3 discards. 3 discards. Actually, the 7 dot would also be a discard. So we would have 4 discards. We would be a contender with 4 discards. And I would say that would be solid because we have our singles, we have our pairs. All we need to do is build on the 9s. Now, we have a joker and a pair 9 bam, so we could Kong there, but the 9 dot is weak. So there's one weakness. So I'd say this player would be a strong contender for the game. Here's another example. We have consecutive run number 7-2. Pung, pung, Kong, Kong. 1, 2 dot, 3, 4 crack. We have 3 discards with joker bait. What position would you say this player would be in? Underdog, contender, or front runner? This is a little bit of a more interesting scenario, and I'll explain why, but I want to see if what people are thinking about this one. Okay. Marilyn says contender. Wes says front runner. Okay, so Wes is correct. This player would be a front runner, and here's why. 3 discards with joker bait, so there's a little potential there to get a joker. This player's hand is what I call being set. this player, actually it's one away from set. So sorry, there's one weakness here, but they're playing the pung, pung, kong, kong hand. They could pung the 1, pung the 2, kong the 3 or 4. If they get one discard, one keeper for this hand, they'll be set, meaning they can claim a discard for every block. And this particular hand is what I call a hand of least resistance. You can use any number of jokers. So there's no risk of disqualification with your exposures here. So because of that, the type of hand, having joker bait, having a joker, and you're playing a hand of least resistance, I would say this player would be a front runner, especially if you think about the Charleston just ended. So there's still some picks in the begin game where this player may get a keeper, which would solidify that front runner position. So yeah, I would say with this hand, front runner. Now, if the 2 crack, similar to the 9, bam, if a 2 crack is discarded and nobody takes it, that would make 5 discards, and I would say they should consider themselves to be a contender and take a little more lower risk approach until they get another keeper and then bump back up to front runner. So your position is going to change based on your hand and the level of development that you have, plus what is visible on the table. That is why this is an advanced topic, because there are a lot of variables to consider as you assess your position in the game, and that your position will change both up or back. You could be pushed back and up depending on what happens at the table. All right, does anybody have any questions? I think we have one more example. Here's evens number 2. Evens number 2, we have 2 4 crack, 4 6 dot, 8 bam kong, second hand down. This is a set hand. We've got our pairs. We have a 4 crack that we could pung, 6 dot we could pung, 8 bam we could kong. We can claim a discard for every block. We have 3 discards. So what is the position here? Yep, front runner. This player would be a front runner. Good, excellent. So I think you get it. Contender, let's see, I'm sorry, underdog, low risk. Contender, moderate risk. Front runner, regardless of risk, push to win. So this player, I would, even if a 6 dot is discarded right away, I would take it, because you would want to keep that front runner position and expedite hand development. All right, now we're going to talk about strategy by wall and build this concept of position into strategy by wall. Has everybody heard about strategy by wall? Put a 1 in the chat if you have heard about strategy by wall. Hop Toys strategy by wall specifically on my channel. If you're new to my channel and you've not heard of strategy by wall, put a 2 in chat. A lot of 1s here so far. Okay, good. Okay, excellent. Now, here's another one. Okay, excellent. We've got a lot of 1s, strategy by wall. All right, so let's talk about it briefly then. The preliminaries are when you're dealing the tiles, mixing the tiles, building the wall, and then dealing the tiles. Those are the preliminaries. In the dealing of the tiles, the first wall is dealt away, and everybody would then have tiles in their hand, and you're going to be left with a short wall. Then the Charleston begins. This I call the pregame. The game doesn't officially start until East discards the first tile. So this is the pregame hand development accelerator. This is a powerful part of the game. and you can transform your dealt hand into something that you can work with when East discards that first tile if you make the right decisions at the right time. So we're going to go through passing and hopefully further develop our hand during the Charleston. After the Charleston, the short wall is called the begin game. This is a really important part of the game because it's going to confirm your position. Whatever you assess your position at, that first wall, while you're picking and discarding from that, or sorry, second wall, that you will be able to confirm your position. Then the third wall, you're going to continue hand development, of course. This is the middle game. And then, of course, we have the end game. No worries, Agnes. All right, so we have, just to start fresh here, the first wall goes away when you deal. Then we do the Charleston. Then we have the begin game, the second wall. Third wall is the middle game. Fourth wall is the end game. So now we're going to talk about how to pace yourself. And this all works with your position. The first thing that you're going to do after East discards their first tile is you're going to assess your position and then reassess if there's significant improvement in that second wall. When East discards the first tile, there's 99 tiles remaining in the wall. So 99 tiles, that is the beginning of the game. And this is the first milestone. The second milestone is at the end of that short wall. This is typically when there are 81 tiles remaining. You want to make sure that you want to commit to one category. Don't straddle for long. Narrow your focus. Then at 70 tiles remaining, this is the sweet spot for switching a hand. Let's say you're playing a pair hand and maybe your singles are being, or your pair tiles are being discarded or used in exposures, and you might not be able to make that hand. You would seriously need to consider switching to an exposable hand, or maybe a concealed hand that can use jokers at 70 tiles remaining, because that'll give you time to develop a new hand. 70 tiles, that's the next milestone that you want to consider as you're working on hand development. The next one is 60 tiles remaining. This is the middle of the game, the midpoint. This is the sweet spot for joker bait, and also the sweet spot for narrowing your options to one hand. If you straddle for too long, you're not going to be able to, first of all, discard safely or defensively, but you also just could stretch yourself out too thin and you would remain an underdog for who knows how long, the remainder of the game. So commit to a hand by the middle of the game if you can. The next milestone is at 41. This is the last pick in the third wall, so before the last wall goes out. So here, you want to try to be ready to win. If you can be ready to win by the end of this wall, you have a really good chance of winning. However, it's going to depend on what is visible, and we'll talk about that. The next milestone is 40 tiles. This is the first pick in the last wall. You want to do a risk assessment to determine the likelihood of you completing your hand before anybody else. So look at the discards, look at the exposures, and do a risk assessment. Check out your weaknesses. Hopefully you have no gaps. The next milestone would be a couple of more picks into the last wall. This is when you need to do a push-fold judgment. And that is where you decide if you're going to play to win or fold and block. Folding in Mahjong does not mean you stop playing. It means that you break up your hand so that you can discard safely and block your opponent. Okay, does anybody have any questions about pacing and these milestones? The end of the second wall or the beginning of the first wall, when the East discards, assess your position. By the end of that wall, commit to a category. If you have to switch hands a few picks into the middle game, third wall, switch. Middle of the game, if you have joker bait, discard the joker bait. Don't hold on to it for too long. And also make sure that you know what hand you're playing at the midpoint. Then at the end of the third wall, try to be ready to win. And some of that you have control over, depending on your hand choice. When that last wall goes out, do a risk assessment, because a couple of picks after that, you need to decide if you're going to push or fold. Push, fold, judgment. Okay, so now we are going to, I believe we're going to stop here, and we're going to do gameplay with commentary to bring everything together in an example hand. And then we're going to come back to this presentation to talk about another way to assess risk and also help you with push-fold judgment. We're going to save it to later though, because it's a little more complex. So let's go ahead and play Mahjong. I'm going to use this view here. Everybody with me? Let me just see here. Okay. All right. So now, oh, I was just checking the presentation to make sure it was in the right place. Okay, so now let's join a table. No, that's a marathon. We don't want to play in a marathon right now. We just want to play one game. Let's see here. Okay. Does anyone have any questions while we're waiting for people to join the table? We're playing at Mahjong Time. If you've not tried playing here yet, look for my email in the video description. Send me an email. I can send you information on their 30-day VIP trial. I don't know. Let's see. There are games in play. Hopefully, here we go. Oh, Misty joined us. I almost called you Mindy. Misty. Oh, good. We have another player here. Okay. I was zooming through my presentation. I thought I had that off screen. Shoot. Sorry about that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Misty. Okay, so we're waiting for another player to join us, and then we'll get started. We got to wait for people to join the table, part of the platform here. We're not playing with robots, so we're not going to start right away. And playing with humans is different than playing with robots. All right, here we go. First game. We're going to do gameplay with commentary, and we're going to talk about hand development during the Charleston. Then we're going to assess our position after the Charleston, and then we'll pace ourselves and talk about position and how it can change as we pace ourselves in the game. So we have here a joker, a flower, 1, 4 and bams, 5, 7 and cracks, 2, 4, 5, 8 and dots with a pair of fives, and a green dragon pair. So whatever we do, we're going to try to use the 5 dot and the green dragon. Target multiples. Make it easy on yourself. Simplify by starting with multiples. With these tiles, we could maybe play like numbers. So I would probably hold the wind I'd probably also hold fours for 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe the 2 could be helpful. And that leaves us with 3 discards. So that's where I would start. So we're targeting the 5, maybe the green dragon. We'll see. We got 2 9s in there, like numbers. That is, let's just say, interesting. We're in this case, we can't use it. We have no 7s. We would play maybe odds, but it's not in the cards, or the tiles, I should say. I think what I would do here is probably let the south go in this case. I was thinking about letting the 2 go, but we could maybe play the second hand down. It is a gap hand right now, 2, 3, 4, 5 dragon. We have dots with a green dragon. That is an offsuit dragon. Okay, so we have a 3, 4, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have almost all consecutive tiles. We have a 9. Here's a dragon now. We could maybe play like numbers with 5s and dragons. So I think what I would do is let the 3 go with the 4. 4 crack, 3 bam. Focus on 5s, or maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 green dragon. We could also do 2, 3, 4, 5 white dragon, but that also is a gap. So that would be the 5th hand down. So I would put both of those under, well, actually, like numbers in this case is going to be a gap hand too, because we have no 5 bam. And that would be a pair gap, which is even more risky. So we have like numbers again here. We're going to keep going, and we need to, I would not pass like numbers. I don't, and unless I have a really strong hand. So I'm not going to do that. So I think what I would do is let the 2 go, and then the 4 bam, one of each suit. We could still maybe do 4, 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe like numbers with 5s. We'll see. Okay, Karen said you had all the 4s. That may be, but we have a pair of 5s. So I'm leveraging the 5s instead of focusing on the 4s. Here's a pair of 8 bams. I would break it up and go with 5s probably here. 4, 5, 6 dragon. Let's see, we are leveraging the pair is the thing. Okay, so we're going across. We need to let something go. I think what I would do is let the 6, or probably the 6 go here. I want to keep these tiles in the middle of the range for flexibility. Okay, so now we have another dragon. I would actually consider switching to the all dragon hand. We're going to the right. Let's keep that 6 for now. Actually, with all these dragons here, I would let it go. Let it go. Maybe we could keep the 4 and let the 5 crack go. And that way, if the other 4s come in and pair up, we could maybe play like numbers with 4s and dragons. But I would still try to target that 5. Actually, you know what? We're kind of in between. Let's let the 4 crack go. We don't have the other 4s. Go with what you have. Focus on what you know, what you see in your hand. Okay, so in this case, it didn't come through for us, but that's okay. We got an option tile with the 8 dot. So we're in between hands. Since we're in between, they want 3. I would pass 2 and keep my options open, because we could do 5, 6, 7, 8, use the joker for the missing 7, or play all dragons. Let's see here. That actually looks pretty good. I think what I would do is let the 4 go and pass fully. All right, so let's see. We're in between hands. Second hand down under Winds and Dragons, or second hand down under Consecutive Run, or the 5th hand down. So we're in between 3 hand. Well, now we have another dragon. So I would say we have 4 discards with joker bait, and I would play the dragon hand. 4 discards, and we're east, so we have an extra discard. We're going to let the 9 go. We're left with 3 discards and joker bait. So I would say we're a contender. We're playing a hand of least resistance. We can actually claim a discard for each one of these dragons. All we need to do is get a little help with the flower.
8 bamboos.
We got a keeper. So now we're letting go of another discard. We have now 2 discards and joker bait. So I would say we're a front runner now.
9 characters.
We need 1 good pick in here for this flower and we'll be set. So we bumped, we were an underdog because we were in between hands. Then we're a contender.
6 dots.
And we got a keeper. So now we're a front runner. So this is when we can take on more risk. Maximum risk.
6 bamboos.
So we were thinking about like numbers, but the dragons came in and we leveraged that trend.
2 dots.
Building multiples, go with that flow.
8 dots. 3 bamboos.
Okay, 1 dot can go.
1 dot.
We're still in the begin game. So if you look at these tiles to the right here, that short wall, that is the end game up until like right around where this 3 bam is.
2 characters.
That is the 4th wall right there. The middle game is going to be up until about where this 1 dot is. You just kind of have to visualize about 40 tiles. We got a keeper.
4 characters.
Okay, so we're at 83 tiles remaining. That middle number in the middle here, that's how many tiles are remaining.
4 characters.
This is the last pick in the begin game.
4 dots.
Now we're in the middle game. 3rd wall.
4 characters.
Okay, let's 6 dot is out. We have joker bait here with the 5 dot. We're going to hold that if we can until 60 tiles.
West wind.
60 tiles remaining, which will probably be right around where the 6 dot is. Right around in here somewhere.
East wind.
We may not even need a joker. Well, we do. We need a flower or a joker in here to help us with our
5
flower.
bamboos.
Oh, now here, look, there's a hesitation on the 5 bam. Somebody may be playing 5s. Little odds 5s. 3, 4, 5,
4
6.
dots.
4, 5, 6. We'll see.
4 dots. 1 bamboo.
The nice thing about these dragons, the way they came in, is we don't need to use our joker for that.
9 characters.
We'll be able to hold on to this joker for ourselves. We need one good pick from that wall in regards to the flower. That is our weakness. That flower is our weakness. But
6 dots.
we have no vulnerability here because we can use any number of jokers with this hand.
Dots.
This is one of the hands of least resistance. Second hand down, Kong, Pung, Kong, Pung. Any number of jokers can be used in this hand. So we won't risk any disqualification.
1 dot.
Because just you can use any number of jokers here.
White dragon.
Okay, so let's go ahead and Kong.
Kong.
And then we'll let the 4 bam go. We're coming up on the sweet spot for joker bait. There's a hesitation.
Pung.
Okay, we got a pung. Our turn. We get another turn.
5 characters.
We got a joker. Okay, now here goes the joker bait because it's all we have left, and we're now set.
5 dots.
We're set. We have 1 discard. Let's see if someone takes it with a. Okay, so it didn't work. Joker bait
4
did not pan out,
characters.
but now we're left with only one discard. So I'd say that we're still a front runner.
8 characters.
Now, if somebody throws a flower, I don't think
4
I would
dots.
take it. Okay, 5 dot, none are, or 1 is out. 5 crack, 1 is out.
5 dots.
Nobody seemed to want the 5 crack, but I do think someone's playing
3
fives.
bamboos.
Someone is playing fives of some kind.
3 bamboos.
I was thinking maybe little odds, but I don't think so because threes
West
are
wind.
really going down. All right, let's see if we can get a flower here. A 7 dot. No, none are out. We're at 55 tiles remaining. I forgot to mention one of the,
7
I need to
dots.
add this milestone in here at about 50, right about now, 54, 53 tiles
1
remaining.
character.
This is when you want to make sure that you have safe discards in your hand because we're about 3 picks away
6
from the
characters.
end game, the last wall. The last wall is going to be right about where the north is here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more picks. So we want to make sure we have a good discard. Now, because of this opponent having 2 exposures, I'm going to expedite hand development and take it. We're going to Kong, and they may need this tile. They could be doing 2, 4, 6, 8, but they could have also been doing 3, 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5, 6, 7 over there. So now here's the risk we took, but we're ready to win.
3 characters.
Ready to win on a red dragon, but we could also use a joker. Now with 4 flowers and a Kong of dragons, we could be playing the second hand down under the year, but we could also be playing this second hand down that we are playing
6
under
bamboos.
winds. That might be
Green
a bit of
dragon.
a red herring there because we have that dragon. They may think, oh, they must be, now we're ready on a pure hand.
3 dots.
If someone throws that red dragon, we'll win on a pure hand, double value.
2 dots.
I think that they may be thinking, oh, they're playing that year hand because we threw a green
6
dragon.
bamboos. 7 bamboos. West wind.
I would love to see this red dragon go down. Come on.
7 dots.
They don't need red dragon, this player on the left.
2 dots.
Don't need winds.
East wind. Eight characters. Four bamboos.
Okay, our pick's coming up here. Red dragon. It'd be really nice to draw a winning tile.
Flower.
1 bam.
1 bamboo. Kong.
Okay, that's locked in right here's the 1 bam.
7 characters.
All right, where's that red dragon? We're in the end game. We're in the end game now. Looks like nobody needs flowers.
1 dot.
5 dot. That is out.
5 dots.
That's the 3rd one.
8 characters.
With
8 characters.
With only 1 green dragon out and a Kong of white dragons here,
2 bamboos.
I imagine that everyone at the table is going to know we need a red dragon to win.
7 characters.
So we may need to draw a joker somehow from the wall in an exchange.
9 characters.
We'll see, but right now no jokers are open to buy.
6 dots.
Okay, here comes our turn.
9 bamboos.
Okay, keeper.
Pung.
Oh, we got skipped.
7 dots.
Okay.
Five characters.
That's already out.
7 characters. 9 dots.
Uh-oh. Ooh, 9 dot.
7 dots.
Okay, come on now. Red dragon to win.
7 bamboos.
Oh, 6 bam. All right.
6
That
bamboos.
was just discarded right here.
Flower.
Okay, so that is 7 out.
Flower.
There's 8. There's number 8.
3 bamboos.
We got it. Self-pick. Double for that. But also, it's pure. Double, double. We got double, double. That was a sweet win. Second hand down under Winds and Dragons. This player switched to defense. Probably. They had that dragon was on the far left of their rack when the game ended. So I think they were going to fold, but they're 1 away from ready. Or no, 2 away from ready. Here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 mixed suit, first hand. Over here, ready to win. They are playing 4, 5, 6, 7, ready to win on a 7 crack. They must have just drawn that joker because I discarded a 7 crack a pick or 2 ago. Okay, yeah, we got double, double. That was really sweet. Okay, now I want to talk about weight patterns. So this is going to be important towards the latter part of the game, the later part of the game, middle game, the midpoint and beyond, because typically you're going to maybe be ready to win by the midpoint of the game, you want to be try to be ready to win by the end of the third wall, and then surely in the end game you'll be ready to win, let's hope. So in that part of the game, if you are ready to win, you want to confirm your position based on the state of your weight. That is your weight pattern. And I'm going to explain what that means here, because you're going to be able to confirm or adjust your position based on the way you are waiting to win, because it is going to determine how much risk you can take with those final discards. If you're ready to win, you're going to pick 1 discard at a time. And sometimes one of those discards is going to be risky. And if you're after the midpoint of the game, you're in the end of the middle game, or you're going into the end game, those picks from the wall could be risky. And if you're waiting to win and you discard a risky tile, you could give the win to somebody else. That's why weight patterns are so important, because you may need to adjust your expectations about winning that game. So let's talk about it. The first weight pattern is a single. You're ready to win with a single tile. That would be, for example, if you're playing the third like number hand, news, and you need a south. That is a single weight. Then we have a pair weight. This would be if you're waiting for, let's say, the same hand and you have 1 flower. You're waiting for the second to make that pair. That is another weight, pair weight. You're on a pair weight. Then we have a multiple weight. So let's think about that same hand. Or actually, let's switch. Let's switch to, let's do the concealed consecutive hand. Let's say you're playing that hand and you have 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. You've got your pair. You've got a couple of jokers, and you're waiting for the first consecutive block. That would be a multiple wait. That pung, you're waiting to win that one, and all the others, let's say, you have as natural pungs in your hand. So you're waiting for one big multiple to finish. That is a multiple wait. That one you can use a joker for, because you can use a joker for anything with 3 of a kind or more. So multiple wait would be that concealed hand there, one of the blocks needing to win. Then we have a double wait. Let's say you draw a joker that allows you to win or reallocate your joker so that you could win on any one of 2 of those multiples. So let's say the 1, 2, or let's say if it's a 4, 5, let's say you have jokers in there so you could win with either a 4 or a 5. That is called a double wait. Then we have a triple wait. Let's say that you're playing that same hand and you have jokers and multiples in a way that you could claim a discard for 3, one of 3 of those, and reallocate the jokers for 3 of those multiples. That would be a triple wait. Let's say that same hand, you have enough jokers and multiples built up so that you can claim a discard for any one of those multiples in that hand. 4, 5, 4, 5, any one of them. That would be a quad wait. So with these weights, there is strength. On the left, we have weakness, and on the right, we have strength. So the single weight is weak, the quad weight is strong. And as you move up to pair, multiple, double, triple, quad, you get stronger and stronger. Weak would be single pair, strong is a multiple weight, then we have a double, triple for stronger, and then the quad is the strongest. So you want to look for opportunities to increase the strength of your weight, and that is going to happen with hand selection. So for example, when I was playing that dragon hand, that is a hand of least resistance. That has the potential for a quad weight because you can have any number of jokers in there. You need Kong, Pung, Kong, Pung. If you have enough jokers and you're ready to win on any one of multiple of those blocks, you could have a good strong weight. So it depends on the type of hand you're playing. If you're playing the 4th hand down under a consecutive run, single pair Kong, you might be able to get a double weight out of that because there are 2 big multiples in there. Otherwise, you have singles and pairs. So hand selection is going to allow you to plan for a strong weight. And then also discard planning comes in to that because there are ways that you can optimize for joker exchange that can help you improve your weight. With the weight, you need to consider your position. If you have a weak weight, consider bumping back. For example, let's say that you have a pair weight and you think you are a contender, you may reassess that and consider yourself to be an underdog because you're waiting for one tile. So adjust your position based on your weight. If your weight is strong, bump up. If your weight is weak, bump back. So let's say that you think, okay, I think I'm a contender, and I improve my weight to a triple weight. I would say you need to change yourself to be a front runner, of course. So I would say even with a strong weight, like a triple weight as a front runner, I think that you should play to win regardless of risk. Okay, so that's the idea here with weights and your position. Does anybody have any questions about the weight? We're going to go back to Mahjong Time, and we're going to play another game, and we're going to bring that in. So we're going to play a game, and we'll talk about hand development during the Charleston. We're going to assess our position. We're going to pace ourselves and make adjustments with our position. And then we're going to focus on weight, our weight. Hopefully we'll be ready to win, and we'll be able to talk about that. But also I'm hoping that we'll be able to see opportunities where we can choose a hand that will give us the best opportunity for a strong weight. Multiple, double, triple, quad. We'll see. So here we go. Now this is going to be a challenge because we have what I call a widespread. Oh, no, we have a pair of fives. Never mind. Okay, so we have a multiple in there, 5 crack. So I would want to look at the rest of my tiles here and keep tiles that can leverage that pair. And I would definitely keep the 5. We have half of news. I would maybe consider like numbers, but I would also hold consecutive tiles. So maybe even little odds. We might be able to do little odds, and I would stop there and probably go ahead and pass 2, 8, 9. That's a little bit risky, but I think we should go with it. You do the best you can with what you have left over while giving yourself the best chance at developing a hand. So now we have a 3-band pair and a 5 crack pair. 3, here's 2, 3, 2, 3, 5, 6-band pair. So we have 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 5 crack pair. I would reassess and focus again here. 3, 5. With 3, 5, there is a hand right there. 3, 4, 5 mixed suit Kongs, third hand down. I would still probably keep like number potential and then stop there. Let's pass 1, 2, 6. All right. Oh, thank you for the kudos on that win, by the way. That was a fun hand to play. I wasn't sure if it was going to come in because I thought people are going to fold. Okay, now we have another change in here. We have a pair of 6s. So anytime you develop a new multiple, reassess. Don't pick a hand. Just stay fluid, stay flexible. We're going to reassess here because now we have that potential to play a hand of least resistance. 3, 4, 5, 6, no gaps. We could potentially have a quad weight there. So I would focus there. 3, 4, 5, 6. So then I would let the wins go. So we're going to let the 8 crack go, the 4 dot. We have a pair here we don't need at the moment. We have a 1, 9 red. Now there's a potential keeper. We could maybe play that second hand down. Keep every tile that you could potentially use. We have a pair of 3s and a pair of 6s. Maybe that 9 could help as well. Okay, now here's something important. Our opponent across from us stopped the Charleston. I want to see if they ask for any tiles. We're not going to pass with them. Anytime someone stops the Charleston, if they're across from you, decline an optional. Because if they are close to a winning hand, you do not want to help them further develop that hand. So in this case, we have an option, 3 discards with joker bait. Oh, actually, we're in between hands because we could play 3, 6, 9.
8 characters.
I would say we're an underdog on this one for now. Okay, here's a 9. Let's let the wind go. We're in between the second hand down, second hand from the bottom in 1 suit, or maybe a 3, 6, 9 hand. I would not pick a hand. We're just going to gather. The flower we could maybe use for 3, 6, 9, third hand down. That would leverage both of those pairs.
2 characters.
Let's just see what we draw. We don't have to pick a hand till we run out of discards. Okay, so now we have 3, 6, 9 in here developing, but it's not quite
4 bamboos.
meshing here.
9 bamboos. 3 characters.
We're good. We have a 5 crack pair we don't need. Here's a new multiple. Anytime a new multiple forms, you're going to reassess. So I think what I would do is let the dragon go here.
Red dragon.
We might be able to play that second hand down, but that would be a gap hand. And we'd have to throw away a three bam. Single pair Kong or single pair Pung, and then Pungs of, let's say, 3s. I think I would probably let that 9
8
crack
dots.
go. So the 3 dot
4
maybe
characters.
joker bait as well. Okay, now there's a keeper. Let's let the 9 crack go. Now that the 4 bam
9
built up
characters.
there, we can do 3, 4, 5, 6. I would let the 9 dot or 9 bam go, and also the 3 dot. We have two sets of joker bait here, and also
West wind.
I would let this flower go too, right away. Actually, if I'm not using flowers, I would let
3
them go.
bamboos.
Okay, we have a hand with no gaps, so let's pung.
Pung.
And now we'll let the flower go.
Flower.
We could pung the 4. We need help with the 5, 6, but this hand is a hand of least resistance. We can use any number of jokers. So even if we
1 dot.
commit with exposures, we're still going to be able to leverage the wonder and the
Red
magic
dragon.
of jokers. Hopefully.
4 dots.
Okay, so now here's something interesting that
9
comes up here.
bamboos.
We're in the middle game now. We just drew a 5 crack
2 characters.
pung. So there's a pung in there now. That joker bait
Pung.
is probably not going to work out. If you
Red
have a
dragon.
pair, someone
2
else may
dots.
have enough tiles to claim one of these. Let's see, we're committed with a 3 bam, so I would let that go. But now that
7
we have a pung in
bamboos.
here, I would say that's not going to be good for joker bait. So I would probably let it go. But I want to just hold on to it for a little while, because if we draw a 6 crack,
1
we could
character.
switch to 3, 4 bam, 5, 6 crack and leverage that pung.
Red
So
dragon.
let's just see how far we can get.
7
See if we can maybe
characters.
get a 6 crack in here. I'd say we're an underdog. Okay, we got a 6 bam. Let's let the 5 crack go. I would go ahead and
5
commit to
characters.
1 suit now that we have a Kong. So we could pung the 4, Kong the
8
6.
characters.
We need help with our 5. That is a weakness, but we can use jokers. So I'd say that we're
White dragon.
with 2 discards and joker bait at 70 tiles remaining. I'd say
5 characters.
I would say we're probably a contender here because of the type of
White
hand we
dragon.
have. This type of hand gives us that power.
3 characters.
We don't risk disqualification because we can use
White
jokers.
dragon. 2 bamboos.
So we need to let these 5s go.
Pung.
Oh, we got skipped. So we have
White dragon.
65 tiles. We're coming up to the midpoint.
8 characters.
I don't like holding dragons.
Green dragon.
Green dragon.
Green dragon.
Okay. 3 green dragons in a row.
5 bamboos.
That was our tile, but that's okay.
1
Let's see.
character.
We can use jokers. One of
1
these
dot.
2s is open.
West wind.
Oh, we need to probably let the 3 dot go in a bit.
3 bamboos.
Let's see. Let's let the 5 go first.
5 characters.
There's kind of there's a range with that sweet spot for joker bait. 60 is the
6
midpoint.
characters.
So between 60 and 50 tiles remaining,
1
is-
bamboo.
you've got a little bit of time in there. You definitely want to
4
let go of
characters.
fresh tiles like this joker bait right about now. We're going to go 1 more pick though, because we drew a flower and I don't want to hold on to that.
Flower.
This is the second one out, but there's a hesitation.
Mahjong.
And that's why I did not want to hold on to that. So I'm okay with that. They had 2 exposures, Pung Kong. So I didn't think they would be ready this early, but they are. So that's okay. Here we have probably north, south with 6, 7, 8 pairs. Over here we have, let's see, big odds, 57.79 crack, I think there. Okay, so now let's play again. Ah, we got right in. Good. Very good. All right, what do we have this time? We have a pair of 1s, pair 1. We have 3s, 1, 3, 5. We do have some 3, 6, 9 in here. I think I would focus on little odds this time. I don't think we can use the dragon, but we'll keep it for a little bit just to see. And then I would try to pass 1 of each suit right here. 1, 3, 5 little odds. Let's see here. 8, 9, 8, 3. We do have some 3, 6, 9 in here. Let's see here. What if we were to pass like that? Because there's a little bit of 3, 6, 9 in here. Let's try this. I usually don't pass white dragons, but here we have another multiple, a 1. Okay, so we have 2 pairs of 1s, and we now have a pair of 6s, 6, 7, and 1s. These do not go together at all. I need to get a print screen of that. Okay. All right, now let's see here. 8 can go, 7 can go, and then probably this 5. 3, I'm thinking maybe even we switch to, well, I wouldn't switch yet. We've got 1s. Let's just keep gathering. We got another 1 and a north. So I would hold that wind because we might be able to play news with 1s. Let's see here. So the 1s and the 5, the 3, 5, not really gelling here. We do have 1, 3 crack, 1, 3 bam. I'd break up the 6 and go with the 1s. Go with where, choose a category that will use most of your multiples. In this case, the 1s. We couldn't do the 6 with 1s, so the 6 has to go. We're going to use the 1s. Okay, so now we have a little bit of 1, 2 building. And yes, we want to keep going, hopefully. Okay, 6, 8, 9 can go. So we have 1, 2, 3. I'm thinking that probably the 3s will go. At least the 3 bam anyway. We could maybe do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 concealed consecutive. And now we've got keepers. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, no gaps. No gaps, and we have tiles we can pass. Oops, that's a keeper. Wrong tile there. Okay, 1, 2 bam, 1, 2 dot, 3 crack pair. We need help with that. That 3 crack, that is a vulnerability because that needs to be a pair. Not a lot we can do with that at the moment. We're going to have to draw or be ready to win on a pair, which is a weak weight. We don't want that to happen. So we want to do the best we can to prepare for a stronger weight. Okay, so now let's see. Let's do 5. Let's do 9 with a 3. 1, 2, 3. Actually, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work here. I was thinking we could maybe do fourth hand down, single pair Kong, but we have a pung of ones. Oh my gosh, look what we got. Wow, okay. I would consider playing the concealed wind hand now. Huh. Our opponent doesn't want any tiles. Okay, so we're in between. That means, in this case, I'd say we're a contender, because if we were to play the concealed consecutive hand, we have four discards. That means we're a contender. If we play news with ones, we also have 4 discards. So either way, we're a contender.
Nine characters.
So let's just see what happens with wins.
Green dragon.
We don't have an east, and I would not call that a gap. I would call that a
North
weakness.
wind.
Okay, there goes the first wind. If we play news concealed, of course, we
4
can't
bamboos.
claim that.
Five dots.
We don't need an 8 here.
8 bamboos. Five dots.
1
9
2 1 2
dots.
1 2 3 concealed or news concealed.
6
If
dots.
we get a flower, actually, we could play news with ones, but I wouldn't
5
consider that
characters.
hand until we get a flower, because that's a pair gap.
Green
That's
dragon.
an example of when you put that lower on the
5
priority.
characters.
If we draw a flower, I would switch, probably. But that again would
8
be a
dots.
pair weight, because we would only have 1 flower. So let's just wait and see. Oh, look, we just got our pair taken care of. So in this case, I would switch now to 1 2 1 2 3, now that we have our pair.
North wind.
So that hand now became strong, because we could potentially have a quad weight.
4 dots.
So this is where that hand selection comes in, with being able to control your weight. We went from
White
the potential
dragon.
of having single weight, pair weight, with news, with flowers,
3
news
bamboos.
concealed. We don't have an east. So now we're doing 1 2 1 2
West
3.
wind.
And we have a pung of 1, so we may be able to get a triple weight, because we already
6
have our
dots.
pair of ones.
East wind.
So the 1 bam, 2 dot, those could all use jokers. That would maybe lead to a triple weight, which is
3
a strong
bamboos.
weight. Okay, now there's joker bait, south. There are
6
norths out,
characters.
so I don't think we're going to be able to do anything with that south, unless we switch to a quint. We technically could play that second hand down under quints, but I don't think it's strong enough to switch. We could quint the 1, but we wouldn't be able to call the other 2 blocks.
7 characters.
So I would probably stay put with the concealed consecutive hand and
East wind.
use the south maybe as joker bait. Somebody has wins, because there's a hesitation on that east.
5 bamboos.
Joker. So I would
1
say we're a front
character.
runner. We're at 74 tiles remaining. We have 1 pair, and it seems that nobody's playing wins.
3 dots.
The player to our right
5
discarded a
bamboos.
north. The player to our left discarded a north. The other player
3
threw an
characters.
east. It seems nobody's playing wins.
6
So
characters.
we're concealed. So there's nothing we can do. We just have to draw. And that's where the luck of the game is, drawing.
South wind.
Okay, here's our joker bait. Didn't pan out, so these are discards.
4 dots.
I would switch these out, probably. We're at 68 tiles remaining. Up till that 50 tile mark, that's when
7
you want to start
bamboos.
holding safe discards. So nobody wants these souths.
Pung.
They would be safe.
Red dragon.
But there is a way to keep tiles that can maybe be used in joker exchanges.
1 bamboo.
That technique, okay, we're concealed. 3 dot. Let's let the south go. There's
South
1,
wind.
2, 3. That 3 dot is a discard, really. It's
9
already, it's out
bamboos.
right here too. But sometimes you
characters.
can hoard discards that potentially could be used in exposures with
9
jokers
dots.
to get a joker in your hand. That's what I was trying to get to. And
South
I
wind.
cover that in the Nitty-Gritty episode called Planning Discards with a tactic called Outside In.
Red dragon.
We won't go into that now.
2 bamboos.
Oh, that's our tile. We need that. But that's okay. We can use jokers. That's the beauty of this kind of a hand if you
East
have your
wind.
pair. This is called a hand of slight resistance
West
because it
wind.
has only one pair. And we now have it in our hand. So we can use any number of jokers at this point. But we are
4
concealed.
bamboos.
So it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I'd say that we're probably a contender at this
Pong.
point because we're at 56 tiles. We have two
North wind.
opponents with exposures. Ooh, flower. We don't want that.
Flower.
Okay, this 4 bam here is locked in.
Red dragon.
Looks like nobody wants
North
dragons.
wind.
Nobody wants winds. The flower,
8
though,
characters.
somebody does want a flower. We need a keeper.
Pong.
Ah, shoot. We got skipped.
1 character.
Okay, now that 8 is open here, this 8. We need to
9
probably let
characters.
this 7 crack go. These are both out.
Green dragon.
Let's go ahead and start holding safe
7
discards.
characters. Pung.
All right.
8 dots.
So the south will be a good discard later. We're going into the end game in 2 picks.
6 bamboos.
Nobody seems to want wins.
3 dots. 1 character. Eight bamboos.
We need a
8
keeper.
bamboos.
That'll do.
8 characters.
Okay, so now we're at 1 discard.
West wind.
1 discard here. We need, let's see here. How are we looking for our keepers?
1 character.
Okay, so there's only one bam out. There's another 1
8
out.
dots.
There's a 1, 2 out. No 2 dots are out. So
5
my guess
dots.
is this player to our right. Oh, 7. Let's let that go now.
7 dots.
That's an unseen tile. Oh man, that was a little scary
5
because
characters.
we have pungs in front of us. I thought they would
1
come.
dot.
We're good there. We have a pung. We need a good keeper here.
6 bamboos.
A 6 dot. 2 are out.
6 dots.
Are they playing the chow hand? Oh, we have a winner. Evens. Okay, and then it looks like we have a year hand, which is why we had a hard time getting our 2 dot. So here we have a 2, 4, 6, 8 hand with flowers, second hand from the bottom. Over here, they are playing probably like numbers with 7s or 4, 5, 6 with pungs. Over here, a year hand. We needed the 2 dot. They had 2 of them, but we got pretty close. Okay, let's play again. And then we'll go back to the presentation and talk about discards, how to assess risks. Oh, shoot, we missed the table. Darn it. Okay, so since there's no table available, let's talk about the next part of this, and that is risk assessment. That's going into the last wall. You want to look at whatever discards you have. If you're not ready to win, you're going to have discards. Or if you are ready to win and you draw something that you need to figure out, is this going to give somebody the ability to continue developing their hand, or is it going to give somebody mahjong? So commit this to memory. On the left, we have likelihood. On the right, we have the impact that a risky tile could create. Impact. Okay, so on the likelihood side, we have improbable, possible, and probable. Improbable would be that risk is unlikely to occur. Possible, risk is likely to occur. And probable is risk most likely to occur. So think about the likelihood: improbable, possible, probable. Then think about the impact that it could create. And to assess that, you want to look at exposures. If someone has no exposures and they win, that would be an acceptable impact, because it's very difficult to know what they're playing. So give yourself some grace. If someone has one exposure, that would be a tolerable impact. If someone has two exposures, because you can figure out what people are playing with two exposures, that would be an unacceptable impact. And then we have an intolerable impact where someone has three exposures. So acceptable, tolerable, unacceptable, intolerable. If let's say nobody at the table has any exposures and you draw a tile that could possibly be risky, that would be low impact, and that's okay. Discard it and play to win. But if someone has one or two exposures and you draw a possible risky discard, you're getting up into the medium level of risk, which will have a tolerable or unacceptable impact, and so on. You want to stay in the low medium range. Otherwise, you're going to pay. It's better to fold if you get into the high extreme, and you want to think about your position and your weight, and then make the right decision based on this risk assessment. So does anyone have any questions about risk with discards? And typically this comes in towards the end of the middle game, the third wall. That's when you want to start holding safer discards so that you can avoid discarding those risky tiles. All right, let's join this table. If anybody has any questions, let me know. We're going to now add the risk assessment into the mix. So we'll look at hand development, then we'll assess our position, we'll pace ourselves, make adjustments, then we'll think about our weight and risk, and that will tie everything together in the power of position. Okay, so here we have a pair of 4 cracks. That's where we're going to start, pair 4. So the rest of these tiles with a pair of 4s, I would keep the other 4, and I would keep east-west, because we might be able to play like numbers with 4s, but I would also keep 3-4, and I would probably also keep the potential for evens, and that's where I would stop, because we've got to have tiles to pass. So 3-4, like numbers with 4s, maybe evens. Okay, so now we have a 4 dot and a 5. At this point, we have no 2. So I would let the idea of evens go and pass 1, 8, 1, 7, 8. 7, 8 right there. That's a little bit risky. I think what I would do is probably let the 6 go. Let's see. 1, 6, 8. Mitigate the risk a little bit. We have 3, 4, 5, maybe like numbers with 4s. All right, so here's 7, 8, 9. A little bit risky here. we'll break up the run a little bit with a offsuit 8. So we're focused on the 4s probably here for the moment. We're going to stay flexible though. Just keep it high level, category level, gather. You're just gathering tiles that can be used. Maybe we're going to play consecutive run, 3, 4, 5 of some kind. Maybe we'll play news with 4s. Okay, now we have a 2 and an 8, but no 6. Since we have no 6, here's a 4. We definitely should keep going. Since we have no 6, I would not even think about playing evens. That would be a gap. And that's where you just take it off the table. I would rather play 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 of some kind. Or like numbers with 4s. Okay, so now we have a little bit of hope in here. So we have a few things we could do. We're going across, so we have to have tiles to pass. We could do 2, 3, 4, 4 chow hand. We could do 4, 5, 4, 5, 6 concealed. I think I would let the winds go at this point, and now we need to let one of our tiles go. I think the 4 can go. We could do maybe even 2, 3, bam, 4, 5 crack. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Here we have tiles we can pass. 9, 2 west. I'm thinking the strongest option at the moment is probably 4, 5, 4, 5, 6 concealed. And another option would be the chow hand. That would be the 6th hand down. No keepers. We can just let these go. Let's see how many our opponent wants first. I want to be reactive here on the optional. At Mahjong Time, you cannot negotiate. You make an offer and you're locked in. So I don't like to offer until I know what my opponent wants. If they want 1 tile, I decline. Okay, no keepers. So we're an underdog on this one. We have 4 discards and options. We don't even know what hand yet we're going to play. So
7 dots.
I would just continue to gather. We're an
2
underdog,
dots.
so we take low risk approach. That could change quickly though. There's a 1. We could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. No, we don't have a 4 dot anymore. Let's let the dragon go.
Green dragon.
So we don't have a 4 dot anymore. So that 1 bam, not helpful. That will probably go.
East wind.
So I would say at this point,
6 bamboos.
let's see here. 2, 3 bam,
West
4, 5
wind.
crack. That's a hand. Here's a 3. Let's keep it and let the 8 go. We could do 4, 5
8
crack, 4, 5
bamboos.
bam, 6 dot pair. I would say that is our strongest option at the
9
moment.
dots.
We could do 3 dot, 4 crack, 5 bam, mixed Kongs, 3rd hand
North
down under
wind.
consecutive run. 3
4
dot
bamboos.
probably is, okay, now there's a flower. So I would pick a hand that would use the flower with the 4. So at this point, we could maybe let the 7 go. Let's
7
keep the 1.
characters.
I think the 7
8
bam,
dots.
that's a discard with a pair of flowers here. We could do
8
4 crack,
characters.
5 bam, 6 dot.
2 characters.
We'll let that go. We could do 2 bam,
wind.
3 dot, 4 crack. We could still do
West wind.
4, 5, 4, 5, 6 and let the flowers be joker bait.
8 characters.
So that leaves us with 3 clear discards. I'd still say
5
we're an underdog
characters.
until we pick a hand. So we're an underdog, and now
dragon.
we're in the middle game. We're going to put these in their
9
suits here.
characters. South wind.
This was a tough deal.
1 dot.
So we need keepers. That'll do.
7
And that will do.
bamboos.
Okay, now let's see. 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, I think is the strongest one we have.
7 bamboos.
Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. We have no 4 dot, and someone kept it.
1 character.
The 4 dot was going around in the Charleston, and somebody kept it.
8 dots.
I think there was a 4 dot. 1, 2, 3, 4,
East wind.
4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, chow.
9 characters.
Quinta flowers, 4 crack, 4 dot. That's a gap
4
hand.
bamboos.
Okay, we're going to pass because we may be playing a concealed hand. 4, 5, 4,
7
5,
characters.
6. So we have 1 clear discard at the
Green
moment.
dragon.
1 clear discard. We'll just keep gathering. We don't
7
have to pick a
bamboos.
hand yet till we lose this discard. Once we have all keepers,
3 bamboos.
even though we're in between hands, they're still keepers. That's when we will need to pick a hand. We're at
Red
66
dragon.
tiles. We're 2 tiles away from that point where we need to pick a hand. Let's see, 3, 5, 1, 3, 4. Let's let the 3 go.
3 dots.
So after this next pick, we need to dig in our heels and pick a hand. And not straddle.
Flower.
No, we're not taking that. Nobody took it. I was hoping someone would take that with a joker. Wouldn't that be nice? Con
1
with 2
dot.
jokers. Get a double joker exchange. That would be sweet.
5 bamboos.
Okay, we're concealed for that particular hand. Another 3. Shoot.
3 dots.
Shoot. All right. We could still maybe do 4, 5, 6
1
Kongs.
character.
4 crack, 5 bam, 6 dot.
West wind.
4 crack, 5 bam, 6 dot. Leverage the pair of flowers.
8 characters.
5 dot pair. Okay, so I would reassess. The 1, 2, 3 here can go.
1 bamboo.
We have all the 5s. I probably would consider switching to like numbers with 5s.
9 characters.
Either way, we have 2 discards right here. You know what we could do?
6 bamboos.
2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Joker bait with the 4.
White dragon.
5 dot pair. 5 crack right there. 2, 3, 4 bam.
9
5,
dots.
5, 5. Quint. So let's see. The other option was like numbers with
2
5s.
dots.
So with the pair of flowers and the 5 dot pair, I would let the concealed hand go. We're at 52 tiles remaining.
1 bamboo.
We have 2 hands with no gaps. So we
Red
probably should
dragon.
pick one. There's a 4 crack now. Let's just reassess. 4 crack, pair of flowers, 4 crack pung. We have a 5 dot. Wrong 3, 5. Let's let the 6 go.
6 dots.
This 4 crack pung is just not quite gelling. 4 crack,
characters.
3 right here. 3, 4, 5, 1 mixed suit Kongs. All right, let's go ahead and Kong.
Kong.
We'll leverage the pair of flowers and we can Kong the 5. So now we're at 49 tiles remaining. Let's let the year tiles go.
2 bamboos.
Especially with a Kong of 2s out there. All right, so we're
5
leveraging the pair
characters.
of flowers. We're going to be able to Kong the 5 dot, but we need
1
help with our
bamboo.
3 bam. 1 is out.
7 dots.
Okay, year tile can go.
4 bamboos.
Since we have our pair, we may end up with a double weight. It depends on
Green
how this
dragon.
goes. No 5 dots are out yet. We could at the least have a multiple
3
rate.
dots.
So that would be strong or better.
5 dots.
Okay, we'll Kong.
Kong.
Now let's let the 6 go.
6 characters.
None are out right now. Okay, so we're at 42 tiles
9 dots.
and we get another turn. Oh, white dragon. We do not want to hold that. It was just thrown.
White dragon. Pung.
Okay, it looks like maybe a year hand over there. They could be playing like
2
numbers with
bamboos.
2s and dragons though. Now they discarded a 2. The post-exposure discard is very telling. They're not
8
playing.
characters.
They're not playing like numbers. They're playing the first year hand probably. So they're going to need 4
1
dot
dot.
and 2 crack. 4 dot 2 crack over
5
there.
dots. 2 bamboos. South wind.
We have 2 discards. We're in the end game now. These are the 5 crack, 2 are out. The 5 bam, 1 is out.
3 dots.
The player to our left has a pung of 6s. This 2 crack though, that is going to be risky. We have 2 exposures. If we're going to play to win, this would be an unacceptable, I forget, hold on. Let's let the 5 go for a minute. Let me go back to this
5
presentation here.
bamboos.
So we have 2 exposures with a possible or a probable.
bamboos.
That is high. Unacceptable, high, probable.
3 characters.
So that means this 2 crack is going to have
Pung.
an intolerable, was that it? Intolerable?
7 characters.
Unacceptable impact.
5
So we need to
bamboos.
fold. What are the chances of us getting a joker for that 3
3 characters.
and the other 3 bam? We have 2
7
players
dots.
with 1 exposure, 1 player with 2 exposures. 2 8 dots are out. I'm
8
thinking we should
dots.
fold because of this player right here. We know what hand
1
they're playing.
bamboo.
They're playing a year hand. They need this 2
Flower.
crack. Okay, we're going to pass. And they just discarded a risky tile too.
5 bamboos.
Okay, 1 crack. I think that just got tossed.
1 character.
So I say we fold.
Flower.
Fold and block. So, sorry about Riley. Oh my
6
gosh.
characters.
Riley, he's a little dog, but he's got a big bark. Okay, 1 dot is out. 5 cracked. Let's throw the 5.
5
It seems
characters.
nobody wants the flowers, so we can hold on to those.
1 character.
We have 5 picks and 3.
8 bamboos.
Well, really, we have 4 good discards.
9 bamboos.
Oh, we got our 3. Oh, man.
1 dot.
Oh, shoot. Oh, it's not Dudley
8
this time. It's the
bamboos.
UPS man.
White dragon.
Oh, they got a joker. They got it. I was not going to throw that 2 crack. Okay, so year hand, first year hand right here. Over here we have news, like number gap hand. They have no other 3. So not sure what's going on there. Here, oh, that's our hand. We needed the 3, but we drew a 2, which is the winning tile for this player here. So we folded. Let's play again. This will be the last hand. I hope that you found power of position helpful. Let's see. Let's play at this table here. I don't know what happened there just now. We didn't get in. We got booted. All right, we'll play here. So I hope that you found that helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're watching the repost, please put your questions in the comment section below the video. And then you could always join my Facebook group and carry on conversation there as well. So let's see what we have to work with this time. Last hand. We have a pair of 3 dots and a pair of souths. So I would try to play a hand with winds and 3s. Maybe 1, 2, 3 north and south kongs. That's a gap at the moment, but who knows? Maybe we'll get north. Let's keep the 3. And then we could maybe mitigate risk with some of these. Let's do 5, 7. Let's do 5, 7 right here, like that. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so we have a north and a 1. I would try for maybe this north-south with kongs hand. Oops, there's a 4 though. We have 3 tiles to pass, so we don't need to pick a hand. We do have the potential in here for pung, pung, kong, kong. That comes with a potential quad weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, pung, pung, kong, kong, all dots. I think this east can go regardless. No keepers. No keepers. This is a bit risky here, passing with a white dragon like that. I don't think I would do that. We could keep it. We want to keep going. Oh, shoot. Our opponent stopped the Charleston. So we're done. We have 2 hands, no gaps. We're in between with 3 clear discards. I would say until we pick a hand, we are an underdog. I want to just see. I'm learning. I take this opportunity to learn how people make their decisions. At the moment, I'm waiting to see if our opponent is going to ask for tiles. And right now they're not. No tiles for the player on the right. That seems to be I'm just going to speed it up and say no. That's the second time they did that. So that I think is a strategy. No tiles.
3 characters.
Interesting. All right. So we could maybe play the 5th hand down under consecutive run, 6th hand down in 1 suit, or north and south with 1, 2, 3. We have 3 clear discards. I'm going to use the white dragon as a delimiter. So we have east 2, 5. So now that 5 crack can go. The 2 can go.
3 bamboos.
Regardless, the east can go. Let's just let the
7
east go.
bamboos.
Looks like somebody might be playing. Look, we got a north.
East wind.
Okay, so I would leverage that and play 1, 2, 3 with north and south. The challenge
North
at the moment, shoot, we can't call. We're going to need a joker there. I think I would keep this now because we need a joker for that north. That needs to be a Kong.
4 characters.
Okay, let's let the year tile go.
2 bamboos. 1 character. 5 bamboos. 8 bamboos.
Oh no, 8 dot.
8 dots. 9 characters.
So this 2 dot is a vulnerability, weakness. Vulnerability is even worse than a weakness. It's where if someone has a pung of 2s, all of a sudden we're done with that hand. That's a vulnerability. So
3 characters.
if, oh, look, we got a south. Let's let the dragon go.
White dragon.
Okay, so we pick a hand now. We have 3 discards and a hand with no gaps. We're going to need a joker, though. We're in the middle game. I would say
8
we're a
characters.
contender. I would say we are a contender because we need a joker
1
and we have a
bamboo.
vulnerability with that too. So until we
9
build one of
characters.
those, I would say we're a contender.
West wind.
So that just means that we need to take a moderate risk approach. The south, if it goes down, I would Kong.
Flower.
We can use a jokers for the north, but the 2 dot is a vulnerability. Once, if we were to
bamboos.
get that 2 dot, I would play to win. And I would even say that we would be a
7
front runner
characters.
at that point. Okay, now here we do not need a flower.
Flower.
This is the switch sweet spot.
Flower.
We were maybe considering 1, 2, 3, 4, pung, pung, kong, kong, but we've got north and south built up. So
6
that's what we're going to
dots.
focus on. We're digging our heels into this hand here.
Six dots.
Okay, let's let the 6 bam go.
6 bamboos.
Seems like someone has 6s.
Pung.
There's, so they punged a 6 bam,
Flower.
but discarded a 6 dot. There's a joker. All right, we're set.
5 bamboos.
I'd say we are now front runner. We're a front runner because we
5
can Kong
bamboos.
north and south. We could be ready to win on a 2. That would be a pair weight, which is
dragon.
weak. So we need to be mindful of that. We are in not quite in the midpoint at the moment. So I still say at the moment we're a front runner.
4
So
bamboos.
let's see now. That's a surprise. So they discarded, they exposed a Kong of dragons and discarded a 4.
White dragon.
So they're not playing 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. They discarded a 4.
Pung.
3 bams are out.
West wind.
I'm guessing
8 characters.
they're playing maybe the like numbers with 6s and dragons hand.
Flower.
Or they could be
Green
playing
dragon.
the 5th hand down under consecutive run with a pung of
1
6s
dot.
there. We're concealed. Or no, not, well, that part is concealed.
9 characters.
3 bam, we're going to let that go now.
3 bamboos.
Okay.
West wind.
Now, they could be doing the run with, let's see, 6, 7,
South wind.
5, oh, let's Kong.
Kong. 5 characters.
I really would rather not have a pair weight. I'm hoping we're going to
Flower.
draw a 2, but that you have no control over. We probably should
7
consider
dots.
ourselves to be a contender because we're going to probably end up with a pair weight.
8 bamboos.
Oh, 5 dot. 1 is out. Let's throw the 4.
4 dots.
Okay. There was a hesitation there.
6 bamboos.
This player across from us could be playing a year
East
hand,
wind.
which is why being ready
2
on a pair weight
bamboos.
is going to be risky. 1 5 dot is out.
5 dots.
I would love to draw that 2 dot. There's nothing we can do about that though.
6
So
dots.
we just have to wait and see.
West wind.
I would say we're a contender. We're 1 pick
4
away from the end
characters.
game. It would be ideal to pick a 2 dot. There's a hesitation on that 4. I'm thinking this player over here is
1 bamboo.
focusing on a year hand. They could have our 2.
North wind.
Oh, here we go. Let's Kong.
Kong.
And that's locked in. We're ready on a 2 dot.
7 characters.
So we have a pair weight. That is weak. But We'll see.
4 bamboos.
Not much we can do about it. This player across from us, I think, may have our tile.
5 dots.
Let's just wait and see what happens.
3 characters.
The player to our left will, if they're playing to
Flower.
win, they will discard a 2 dot. The player to our right,
1 character.
okay, so they have 1, 3, 5 in
8
front of them.
bamboos.
They have 6 and 8 in front of them. They're not playing odds. The player to our
1
right,
character.
they could potentially have our tile too.
4 dots.
So the 2 dot, where is it? That's what we want to know.
Seven dots.
So north-south Kong. It could be
8
the
dots.
hand we're playing, of course. This is the 5th hand down, but it could also be the 1st hand.
5 bamboos. 5 characters. Flower.
Okay.
1 character. 6 dots. 8 characters.
You know what? This player on the left could be playing 2, 4, 6, 8 dragon.
2 dots.
There it is. Mahjong. Hopefully. What? No. Did we just get a bad weight? Or bad beat? Oh, I said Mahjong.
Mahjong.
It's a delay. Oh my gosh. I thought we were going to get a bad beat. Okay, so we had a pair weight. That's risky because look over here. Year hand. They have 2s. They're playing the 1st year hand. So this player over here, 7, 8, 9. What in the world? I'm thinking, yikes. I don't know. Single pair Kong, 4th hand down maybe. Over here, 6s with dragons, ready to win on a double weight. So they had a bad beat. This player had a bad beat because they're ready on a double weight. We were ready on a pair weight. So we won. We won. That's called a bad beat for them, not for us. It's a good win for us, but this player's ready on a double weight. All right, that's going to do it for this live stream. That delay was weird. I know it was. Thank you for the kudos on that hand. That I wasn't sure about that because our opponent across from us was playing a year hand. That's why I really wanted to draw that 2 dot, but there's nothing you can do about the draw. That's all. That's where the luck in the game is. That's it. The luck of the game. Well, that's not true. The luck of the game is in who you play with, because you never know the level of defense they're going to have. If they don't play defensively, they could give incredible passes to your opponents, and that's just lucky for them. So who you play with is a bit of luck, but primarily it's in the drawing the tiles. Your dealt hand, how strong it is from the onset. There's luck there, which comes from the wall. And then picking from the wall. That is where the luck is. Everything else in the game is skill. Skill and correctly applying strategies. That's why practice is so important. Oh, thank you, Nancy. I know it's jam-packed with lots of concepts, so rewatch this video. Let it sink in. All this is explained in my 2nd primer. So if you're a reader, consider buying my 2nd primer. I had a bit of a challenge with my cover, so I need to re-upload my manuscripts. My cover was reapproved, so everything's good there. So if you haven't bought my books, consider that because I think they're very good when it comes to strategy. That 2nd primer is going to, if you're a reader, it is going to take your game to the next level if you study hard and apply those tactics. And everything in my books is on my YouTube channel. And also it will be covered in all the Nitty-Gritty Let's Play live streams, which is this Monday event. It is also in the wiki. So if you look for the link in the video description below to the skills and strategies matrix, all those tactics, skills, strategies are in that wiki article. So check that out. If you want everything in one comprehensive place, that's the purpose of buying that primer, because you can reread it, earmark it, study it, have it with you where there's no tech. So there's a lot of reasons why having a book is a good idea. So if you're a reader, consider getting it. And thank you for being here. Evelyn, thank you for moderating. And also thank you for all of you who were participating in the live stream chat during the presentation. That was really great interaction. I love it. And if you enjoyed this session, please share about the channel with your friends. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I'll go ahead and sign off. I'll be back again tonight, though, for a short, I'm calling it offstage episode, because I'm doing a 24-hour live stream. I'm calling it a Mahjathon, the last Saturday in October. This is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So the charity that I've selected for the Mahjathon is St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So I'm going to be going live at 7 p.m. to share any updates that we may have for the event and also answer questions. So if you're interested in participating in that, join me tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's going to be a short meeting. These, I think, will be under 30 minutes, likely, unless there's a whole lot of questions. But I'm thinking they'll all be pretty short, just snippets. So I guess we'll see some of you tonight. Otherwise, we'll see you in the ether. I'll go ahead and sign off. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.